You're listening to the Smash Bros. Cast, episode 49. I'm your host, N64 Josh. My co-host and sparring partner is Nightcrawler. What's up, dude?
Hey, how's it going?
Oh my gosh.
I know you're not feeling too hot.
Oh man, stupid cold, man. What is up? What is the deal with that? It's ridiculous. But the show must go on. So, if you want to get yourself a free book from Audible, go to audibletrial.com/SBC. Pick up something awesome like Blood, Sweat, and Pixels or Ready Player One. The chair I'm sitting in is from OP Seat. If you go to n64josh.com/OP Seat, you automatically save $10 at checkout. And I just wrote a book called Another Castle, and you can get it in as an ebook or as an audio book or as both by going to n64josh.com/anothercastle. And if you've already picked it up, thank you so much. This has kind of been the launch week. It's kind of exciting. So, yeah, so far the feedback's been pretty good, and appreciate everybody that has picked it up. So thank you for that. Again, that's n64josh.com/another castle. See, my head is just not even
swimming.
Yeah, I'm not here today. I'm medicated, but we're gonna jump to our announcements. Here we go. All right, we got some SBC tournament results. Am I seeing that right there?
Yeah.
Yeah, break it down.
So we had our kind of first bigger tournament that we've tried to put on, and I meant to put a link here. I will get that in here before the show notes go live. But you can check out the bracket that we have up on Challenge and take a look. But we had Danderson, which I don't know if he originally was from Beyond the Metagame or if he was in originally from our Discord, but he's present in our Discord if you want to give him a shout out in there. But he took it down with, I think he used Falco all the way through, but he had some really good combos going with Falco. But I think he didn't drop anything. I think he didn't lose a set. He stayed through in winners all the way through.
Love it. It's really it was a blast to watch. Like, we had such a good time, and having the guys from Beyond the Metagame hang out with us was cool. It was cool. Some pretty funny commentary from those guys, just kind of, flipping each other crap every now and again. Was pretty good with the dainty kicks and everything else,
Yep.
So we have a call-in show that we're doing on Mondays. It's 7:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We might move that to like 5:30. Just to see if it's
we're
a little
kind of
bit
playing around with it
a little bit earlier so that more people can make it. But that's live on twitch.tv/n64josh, and you got to be in the Discord in order to get into the call. So that's happening, and we've been having a good time. It's been really good getting to answer questions live. I've really enjoyed it. So go ahead.
Just want to let you guys know if you guys come up with a question from when you listen to this show now or anytime throughout the week, I think we kind of try to reserve some space just in the Discord channel that is titled under podcast, under SBC. What is it? SBC podcast? Is that what it's called? But then also there's multiple different places you can have discussions, but kind of try to leave it for the questions there. But then also, if you guys want to ask questions on Instagram, on Josh's Instagram page, using the hashtag #AskSBC, or as well on Twitter, we can. That's an easy way for us to go find those when we're getting ready to do the call-in shows.
Yeah, absolutely. This show we record live at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on twitch.tv/n64josh. And you can listen to the show on iTunes, Google Play, Podbean, Spotify, all the places where podcasts are found. Plus, you can watch it live on YouTube. Somebody in chat's like, whoa, the music, those little the bumpers between each segment actually have video to them as well. So if you want to check it out on YouTube, it's just youtube.com/n64josh. It's also in the show notes at n64josh.com/SBC49. You can watch or listen there. So with that, we could jump on to our tournament news. All right, take it away, my friend.
Yeah, so we were talking before the show. I don't remember any giant standout kind of tournaments that happened this weekend. We didn't really spend a lot of time going through Smash.gg at all to look, but we do have a tweet here from Panda Global that put out kind of just a small little graphic that has 8 different tournaments that are happening throughout the U.S. This weekend. So I have a link to that in the show notes if you guys want to take a look, or if you just want to look them up on Twitter. It's just PG Stats, and they have that on one of their tweets here from Friday, just with 8 different locations. Looks like two in Michigan, Canada, Omaha, Nebraska, another one in Canada, Maryland, Illinois, and what's this other one? It's blocked by their information, but California. So yeah, so lots of different tournaments kind of taking place. So look, and I think it has Twitch channels on there as well. So if you guys want to watch, they have times, Twitch channels, dates, and how many entrants are in. Looks like the biggest one is in Maryland with 550 people, so should be good, and that will be on VG Bootcamp, which I think a lot of people probably have that already bookmarked. So yeah, check those out over the weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing I want to throw out, I should have put it in the announcements, is that guys, there are more articles going up on n64josh.com, and one of them and I have a link to it at the bottom here with our like Smash resources, but I'm compiling a post of all the best videos that I'm coming across, and so far I believe there's five videos there, and I'm going to keep adding to it, but you can just go to n64josh.com/smash videos, and that's the link. Like I said, under Smash resources in the notes here, it's right there as well, so you can just click it and it'll take you right there. But really just want to find, the best content possible for you guys to be able to improve your game, like, and so far I found some stuff that's really helped me a lot. For Izaw Smash is the first 4 videos there, and they're extremely helpful, so make sure to check those out.
I'm hopeful that he's going to start getting into character videos here shortly as well, like he did in Smash 4.
Yeah, I'm sure he will. One of the things he started doing recently, or I believe this week, is just basically a live stream that he records and literally calls out what the opponent's doing the entire time, and basically shows how he's getting his reads and what he's watching for. It's extremely helpful stuff. So that'll be the next one I get on that list for sure. But we got our countdown to Genesis. All right, how many days?
We will have played here in 14 days, because I'm pretty sure we're going to probably have early pools in the morning, either doubles or singles. I'm not sure which. I'm pretty sure we're probably going to have doubles first, but I know that Genesis is getting ready to put out, I think, a preliminary kind of pool schedule that you can view here shortly on smash.gg. So if you guys are registered for Genesis, be sure to kind of keep your eyes out for that. I do know that they extended one day until tonight at midnight, I'm assuming Pacific time. If you have not declared your doubles partner or any, it's maybe just small minor changes that you can do. You can't register anymore, but you can make a few minor changes if you need to in your profile for the tournament up until tonight. But yeah, less than 2 weeks, and we're gonna probably have something special coming to you guys. We won't have our normal regular show at this normal time on Friday, but we will find a way to get you guys some content here and some reaction and all that kind of stuff. So it'll be good.
Yeah, there'll be some live streams coming from our room, coming from the show floor. I'll have all kinds of cameras and stuff. Like we'll be doing a lot of documentation of the entire event, and just kind of letting you guys live vicariously through us as much as possible, just so that you can see what it's like and maybe prep to be able to go next year or go to one later on in the year. The other one I'm going to try to go to is SmashCon in August, so we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, and
yet.
I think both of us have Streamlabs on our phone, so we can hopefully be each other's camera guy when we're doing pools. Hopefully we have different pools, and we can be able to be right there with each other as we're going around and be filming kind of over the shoulder, so you guys can kind of give you a look inside.
Yeah, it'd be a good time. It'd be a good time. So with that, I think we're going to go ahead and jump over to our news here. All right, so we got a new weekly event. Shocker. So surprised. There's a new weekly event. Fire Emblem Fest.
Thursday night into Friday, they put something new out.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Fire Emblem Fest, Part 2. 2 Legend class spirits, 2 Ace class spirits that will appear for a limited time. So you jumping into this? You getting this?
I hardly pull up the spirit board anymore, but... Yeah. The one thing I had been doing up until like this week, because I think music stopped popping up, but I would go into the regular store or whatever. There are spirits that pop up on that regular board, but I was making sure I was buying all of the music. So I think all I have I was buying a few spirits that were hard to get, but you run through your money really quick that you earn just on the online games and all that kind of stuff. The regular in-game currency that you get, like a legend class spirit on that store costs like 15,000 of your in-game currency, so you can burn through it pretty quick when the music is just like 300. But that's what I had been spending the spirit board I had been going to. I hadn't been going into the spirits thing to do too often, but maybe I'll pop in if they're. That's the thing. I don't know how like rare these are. I don't know if they're available in World of Light or not. I kind of burned out on it. I'm like in the back half of it, but I've kind of slowed up. I haven't played it in a while.
I see.
But I know you haven't even touched it at all.
Nope. Still haven't at all. At all.
And I know it's really it's a slug through there. It's just like it's a long time. Friendly
reminder to redeem your Piranha Plant by registering your physical game and checking your email. Could be in your junk or promotional folder. Digital. If you got it digitally, you should already be registered and good to go. Yeah.
And I know we had kind of kicked around the idea that maybe they were going to drop Piranha Plant earlier before that like deadline date, but the little thing that Nintendo put out in the in-game announcements said scheduled for a February release, so I'm assuming it's probably going to be right around when the amiibo drops in like, was that a month, 4 weeks, I think, on the 15th.
It's about a month. Yeah. So okay, well there's basically the news. Nothing real major. Couple different talking points we can jump right into here. Here, this is from Vagrant from the chat. It says, how does one go about picking a secondary? I know using my main is important, but the grind can be real sometimes. How do I go about choosing a secondary that would be a good time investment for when you just want to switch it up? My best advice is just find someone you're going to have fun with. You know, I chose Mega Man because I don't know if I did the random thing, and then he was one of the characters that I ended up playing as, and I was like, you know, I'm gonna check this out, you know, or check him out, and I kind of liked it. It's really a different play style. You play much more, you know, a lot more spacing and that kind of stuff.
But I think that's key. What you just said right there, it's different. When, like, you're not going to have Lucina as your backup if Marth is your main. Like, you should be able to play those two interchangeably, and they play slightly differently, but like, you want to have a character that is just it hits on the weaknesses of your main. So if you struggle against certain characters with your main that you can recognize that you know is not a good matchup, but maybe you can find a character that you have success against those characters, maybe that would be worthy to put some time investment into that character to see if you can develop that into a secondary that you can then pull out if you come across somebody that is playing a character that you know you have a weak matchup against. So, and fundamentally, I think that kind of goes into the fact that Mega Man has projectiles and longer a little bit longer options on attacks than what Josh normally plays with Mario. So he can play that spacing game. He can play, juggling those just back airs and fairs that you have to kind of move people off the map. It's a little bit different than what you play with Mario.
Yeah, absolutely. So maybe don't pick 2 Fire Emblem characters.
Hey, don't go there. One's damage up close, one's spacing. I have it.
Oh, I'm just messing with you. So, I'm gonna let you go ahead and read the next one or two. I think there's 2. But they kind of go hand in hand. So I'll let you read these, and then we can tear them apart.
All right. This was from Discord, from Leaf the Econ Last. Is that, or am I saying that right?
Eon Last, I think.
Yeah. So this is pretty much wanting to talk about amiibos. So, like amiibos to come up as a topic in the cast if possible. There's only one real purpose for Spirit Board outside of those friendly spirit matches, but I think they can somehow, or they can sometimes make things, make interesting sparring partners as alternatives to the basic CPU. Help switch things up, and let's see. Does this continue?
No, the next question's there, but we can kind of just read them.
Okay.
I think what happened is I think that basically a conversation took place is what went down. So I'm not sure if there's much of a question here. Is more of just a statement, but I haven't even messed with Amiibo that much. Are they similar to how they were in 4, where you just kind of level them up and they could fight each other and things like that?
Well, so I know in 4, like the ones that I have open sitting here on my desk, I know I just pretty much put into a 99 stock match 8-man smash and just let them all fight each other to level them up. I didn't put the work in to fight my Amiibo. I just kind of let them level up to, I think it's 50 or 100. I don't remember what the top level is that they could get up to, but I kind of just did it to do it just because I had them open. But I do know that they could learn from you. I don't know what the range of their abilities were, but it sounds like in this discussion that took place on Discord that we kind of have here in front of us, it sounds like they have more styles that they can learn. They can be aggressive, they can edge guard more, and it sounds like from this conversation that took place that you can kind of lock them into something if you come across a style that you want them to play. So it looks like you can kind of make this a sparring partner that you can have specialize in something that you want to improve on. So like what we talk about all the time is find somebody that you feel like you can have a conversation with and can point out your flaws and all that kind of stuff and make them your sparring partner. But if I know that the AI in this game is a lot better than it was in previous games, but it looks like this could be a viable option if you don't have great internet or you're off, like if you're offline or traveling or something like that, you could use this as an option. But I still think nothing really takes the place of having that observation from another human that you can have back and forth with, and you can maybe have more options to have them specifically do something that you really want to improve on.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. So, I mean, it seems like what I was most surprised by is the amount of communities outside of the competitive scene that were doing things with Amiibo, and they do exist. I don't have any links for you guys directly, but I'm sure a quick Google search you could find Smash Amiibo communities pretty easily, and there's a chance there's still quite a bit of fun to be had on that side.
I think I had heard back in the day with Smash 4. I think I had heard of something like deathmatch Amiibo battles, where they would I think it was at Comic Cons or something like that, where you would check in, you would train your amiibo, and then you'd have to check in and give it to them. And it was pretty much a battle royale death match. They would destroy your amiibo if it lost.
Yeah, I saw one at Screw Attack where the kid had a custom amiibo that looked like a minion, and it lost, and they took a flamethrower to it or something, like they burned the thing up, and he was crying, and his dad was trying to console him, and oh man, yeah, so pretty brutal stuff, but
entertaining for the crowd, I'm sure.
Oh, exactly. Well, I'm excited for this last part. I did put a little bit of time into this, so we're gonna dive into this last part here with kind of our week in Smash and kind of some tips and stuff. So here we go. All right. Well, one of the things I feel like we say all the time is if you learn to read your opponent, you're going to do better at this game. But I feel like just saying that, I don't know that that doesn't necessarily help, right? So I thought I would kind of break down what that meant, at least to me, and I'm hoping this will kind of get a conversation going, and maybe we can flesh this thing out a little bit more. If you want to check out the video I did for this and the article I have written up, you can go to n64josh.com/5ways. That's just the number 5, WAYZ, and that has basically this write-up that we're going to go over here. But I want to talk about 5 ways to read your opponent, okay? And so the first one that I put down here is to really pay attention to how they get up after they are knocked down on the stage. I'm talking just on the stage. You know, hit them with the third hit of your jab combo, and they just go flying back. They don't hit any of their buttons. They just hit the stage, and then they have to stand back up. Okay, and when I started really paying attention to this, it kind of clicked with me when Crawler and I were fighting one night, and I noticed that he had it. It was after we had Mikey on the call, and he was talking about watching people roll, right? And so I started watching Crawler closely, and I noticed he would roll almost the same direction pretty consistently, and so it got to the point he would just roll right into my grab, and he goes, "Oh boy, you're reading that." And I was like, "You got to stop doing that." Like almost the exact same time, like we both were kind of catching on. But if you kind of watch, so we're breaking these things down into different categories that, like, my hope is if you focus on when they get knocked down, you may spend a few games doing that, and then that's going to become second nature to you. And then you'll get to the second thing that you can look for, and to where eventually you're looking for all 5 of these things all the time. Now, some of this stuff comes naturally. Some of the stuff you do automatically, you don't even realize you're doing it. Okay, and you're going to see as we get to some of this stuff. But so if they're rolling forward or back, you want to figure out what's the best way to punish that habit, right? So if they're rolling towards you, when Crawler rolled towards me, I grabbed him, I threw him up, I gave him a couple up airs and probably an up B, right? Like it was a pretty good punish. And so, or maybe it's a smash attack, that kind of stuff. But you want to watch how they're getting up. So when somebody's saying, how do you read your opponent? That's one of the ways. How do they get up? Anything you want to add to that or piggyback on that?
I'm going to say for all of these points that we're talking about, you can use it in the exact opposite way as well. You should be doing, when we say vary your play, these are the exact things that you should vary and not do the same thing all the time, because then your opponent can read you. So take the counterpoints of all these things that we're talking about reading your opponent and make sure you're not just doing it over and over and over again the same way, like what your opponent could be doing.
So first one, watching how they get up after they've been knocked down. The second one, how do they recover while they're on the ledge? Okay, so I'm talking your opponent is hanging there on the ledge, and there's really is it 4 or 5 ways they can get up? They can roll back onto the stage.
Yeah, there's 4, but then there are subsets within those 4 that you can kind of mix it up a little bit as well.
Correct. Yeah. So they may roll, They may do a normal get up and then try to shield, which is what I do. That gets punished a lot, that I have to try to, that's a habit I need to break.
Attack, get up, and jump, get up.
Yeah. And so, if you are, I was watching, and some of this came from watching Izaw Smash video where he was doing, he was positioning himself out of the range of getting hit by the attack. But if they rolled, his up B was going to hit no matter what. Right? So you're going to have to know with your character, if your opponent is rolling on the stage regularly and you're picking up on this, what's the best way to punish it? Is it an up B? Is it a smash attack? Is it a grab? If they are using the just the normal get up, there's enough lag in that you can hit them before they can pop their shield. Because I know firsthand, because it happens to me. Okay. And
it also depends on how long they chose to hang on the ledge too. Because if they choose to hang too long and let their invincibility frames lapse, then they're vulnerable for you to attack them even while they're hanging on the ledge and their get up animation as well.
Right. So if they are using attack recovery often, all you need to do is shield. And now, you could grab out a shield, you could up B out a shield. There's ways to punish. If your opponent uses the jump to recover, you may be able to punish with a nair, a fair, or an up air. Depends on who you're playing as and what their moveset is. If you're playing as like Richter or Simon, I believe it's just an up tilt, and you're gonna take them right out of the air that way. So,
and if they burn more jumps than they need to, then you can just position yourself immediately underneath them and punish with an up smash or anything else.
Correct. Yeah. So those are going to be, you just want to make sure that you are positioning yourself in a safe way when you're on the ledge, so that they attack, you're able to shield. If they roll, you're able to attack immediately and not have them get behind you. Right? So really pay attention to how they recover while on the ledge. Okay, the next step, how do they recover off stage? This is where I'm like a shark that sees its prey. As soon as I see a second jump, it's game over. Right. I do want to point out before we get into that, Euphoric Weasel said they can also drop down and jump up with a low aerial from the ledge. And that's absolutely true. Antoine, that other Mario main, what he likes to do is drop down, throw the cape, jump back up, and have a back air ready for the opponent that's up there. So that's another option of getting back on stage. So keep that in mind. But back to watching how your opponent how they recover off stage. If they double jump and they recover high, you can punish with a spike or any aerial, followed by projectiles to gimp them even further. Right? So you have that option to meet them off the stage, hit them with that spike. It's not always going to be safe. We'll talk about that a little bit. So what happens, like, after punishing a high recovery, you can usually, this is what happens with me. I spike somebody, I hit them off stage again, right, for their next stock. Now I'm getting an air dodge when I get near them. So I will fake the forward air. I won't do it. I'll jump towards them, but then I'll jump back. Now I'm getting a grab and throwing them back off stage again. Right? So I've basically used that spike to now get into their head. There's a few other things that does too. I've watched people try to counter. I've watched people and they'll end up doing misinputs and not able to get back on the stage because they know that this spike is coming. One of the things that you can do is, like for Mario, for instance, if I fake like I'm going to go for that spike and they throw an up B, I can double jump away from them and then possibly still get the spike, because if I've gone out far enough, they've whiffed their move. now in their lag, I can still get that spike or punish when they hit the ground, right? So it's really just trying to keep yourself in the advantage the whole time.
And well, the other thing with that as well is you might cause them to avoid going high, and then that's where you switch gears and you go maybe low down to meet them, and you cape them the other way, and then they can't get back.
Right.
As well.
Yeah. So you've got a couple options there too. Like one of the things that was just really fun is today I just kind of watched some gameplay, and I was like watching against, okay, what could I, like, asking myself, how could I react to what I was seeing on screen? And I was watching a King K Rule do his crazy recovery, right? And I'm wondering, like, we need to jump into a training session together, and I want to have you do his is it his up B that brings that little propeller out?
Mm-hmm.
And I want to see, because I know that you can take damage from that thing if it hits you on top. But I'm curious, if I were to drop down and back air somewhat low, if I could slam him right into the side of the stage and basically go for the spike like that. You know what I was watching Iza with his Link drop bombs down on top of him, and that was fairly effective also. So that's what kind of just got me, like, I'm just watching going, oh, I could try this, oh, I could try that, you know what I mean? Like, which is what got me thinking about all this stuff to put this stuff together. So you can recover low. If you get your timing right, you don't have to jump off the stage at all. You can hit them with an F smash right as they either get to the stage or right before they grab the stage. And if they are recovering low, you might need to angle that F smash down if you're playing a character that your F smash can't be angled. Mario, for instance, can angle his F smash up or down. So something to keep in mind. I don't know what, like, do you find yourself looking for the patterns when people are like, do you find yourself looking for, I mean, because playing with Roy now, you've got that ability to really gimp with the is it the fair?
The fair. Yeah, fair. And I mean, he does have a spike. It's a smaller hitbox that I haven't quite been able to fully figure out yet for the down air to spike. But yeah, the biggest thing I look for if I can get somebody off stage is if they burn through at least one of those jumps, especially like I just played against a Ganondorf, and it was easy to see once they burn through their two jumps, especially if you know what their up B move potentially is to snap to the ledge. If you can get them just far enough out, or sometimes even if you fall down low enough to meet them, you can hit them to the blast zone. So it's knowing, and a lot of that comes with also knowing your ability to get back to the stage. So you got to make sure you can safely get back. You don't always want to necessarily go out and commit that suicide stock, but there are times that it can be advantageous, I guess, if you are ready to reset it back, or if you really want to guarantee that they're at a low stock and you're at a high, or they're at a low percent and you're at a high percent, and you can guarantee that they're gonna go down with the ship. If you go out there and get them, then you can reset and play from one stock each or something like that. Then that's where you want to read that and do that.
Next thing I want you guys to look for is patterns in your opponent's attacks, and then exploit them. Okay, so the more, and this kind of gets into what Crawler was just talking about too, the more you play the game and the more you play as other characters, you're going to learn how they approach and then how to counter it, right? So like, this is something that's literally going to come in time and by playing the character. And you're going to kind of know, like, the first time I played Mew, everybody in my chat was like, fair, 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 and all of a sudden I was like, oh, wow, this is pretty effective, right? Mega Man has a very effective fair, plus his spacing. So how are you going to get, you've got to figure out with your character how you're going to, close those gaps, shrink that space, and be able to get your opponent to whiff attacks. One of the things that I think about when I talk about this is watching Jigglypuff players. It seems like they are just out of reach always for my back air, my nair, and then I end up missing and get punished for it. And so it's one of those things that like you almost have to like bait them into a mistake or delay an attack so that you actually hit further than you normally would. You know, if that makes sense. Like if you were throwing your back air right as your short hop, but maybe you do more of a flip and then throw it so that you're a little further into it, you might actually land that attack. So it's something to keep in mind because you know, certain players are going to move differently, and so you want to learn some of the bread and butter, right, and then learn how to counter it.
Yep. And I mean, you want to, it comes with learning as well. Like we're talking about reading your opponent on their recovery as well. But if you're also working on the recovery, know what the options are for the character you're coming back to the stage against. So know that Mario has a cape and a spike. Know that K. Rool can down air and back air and spike, and kind of be aware of those options and try to recover in a way that doesn't put you out of vulnerability, or if you know kind of the frame window that they have to necessarily land that, if you have an attack up B, that you can engage it first, because a lot of these there are priorities that you have to worry about, but a good chunk of this can be avoided if you know your timing windows. So if you can hit it before they have a chance to react, or that their frames come into play, and your frames would be able to damage them if with like an up B attack, then do that if you hopefully can still snap to that ledge. So it's about kind of understanding those situations that you're in and reacting.
Yeah, so back to just watching for patterns in the way they attack and everything, you might find that some people rely too heavily on one move, and they have nothing to fall back on once you've exploited that move. Like they may have found the easy button with their character that has allowed them to win many matches. But if you're patient and you watch and you see that this is literally all they have, now you can exploit that, you know? So, you know, you've got King K. Rool using his super armor, right? You've got
or if your villager take his crown away, and then not much happens there.
Right. The you know, I've been seeing that Rob has kind of been getting a lot of attention this last week with some crazy combos and things like that. But his full hop nair is kind of the move that he wants to land. That's one of
his all of his aerials, I think, have multiple hits.
Yeah. So
and the combo game with the gyro is pretty insane.
So you've got to be able to figure out, like, okay, just watch for those. That's going to come in time, right? As you see these characters, as you pick up on it, you go, oh, Rob is doing this continually. I just need to avoid that and then punish as I'm able to. One of the things this is like the easiest thing when it comes to reading your opponent's, just their attacks and things like that. If they miss input or for some reason just throw a random up B, you have got to pounce on that every single time. Like if you watch the people you play online and you throw an up B, how many times is there a full sprint to where you are so that they can make sure to deal some damage to you? And you've got to be in the same mindset. If somebody misses an up B, that is free percent that you are missing out on if you don't take advantage of that. So run, sprint, do whatever you can to make sure that you can inflict some damage if somebody misses an up B. And the same can be true if they throw an air dodge at a bad time. That's another thing. Those are like the easy things to start looking for. The up Bs and the air dodges that you can then punish.
Especially if those up Bs, if they burned their jumps before they used it, try to catch them before they touch back down. So their only recovery option after that would be the reset up B.
Yeah.
So get them off stage as soon as you can, and try to do it with an aerial and a neutral or forward air or back air, whatever works best depending on your positioning. But get them off that stage so that they have to either try to catch that ledge or they have to reburn their up B.
If you notice an opponent that is constantly looking for a grab, use your spot dodge. Roll behind them. You know, I think of some of the characters that have like, for some reason, I don't know why this happens, but it's happened a few different times when I've played a Samus and a Dark Samus. And if I'm in the middle of the stage and I think the opponent is going to be coming at me and I throw my grab, but I miss, almost immediately I watch that other character go for a grab themselves. And I have been able to roll behind, and then their animation for that long grab has so many frames that they are now getting some serious punishment for that, right? And so, you know, if you're picking up on the fact that they really need to get those grabs, maybe you're playing a Mario or something that needs to get those grabs to get those combos started, well, spot dodge, and then do whatever you can. You may just have to get them away. You may not be able to like really punish right after that spot dodge, but at least get some jabs out, reset neutral, reacts to you. And your moves and bait them into your traps. Okay, so how do they react to your projectiles? If they jump towards you, how can you punish that? Okay, so how do they react to your projectiles? Now, as a Mario main, I can full hop and drop fireballs. And a lot of times they're going to throw shield, and then I can get a grab. A lot of times I'll follow that thing right in, and be good to go with a grab there. So I'm looking at Twitch. It looks like it just died, but I think if everybody just refreshes, they'll be fine. So, you know, how do they react to your projectiles? Do you if you see them, like I said, if you see them shielding, you can get in for that grab. And then the biggest thing is, like, you know, how are they reacting to you poking at their shields with back airs? How are they trying to attack you back, right? Are you seeing them constantly shielding when you throw back airs? Because now you could just, for me, I could just backflip in and get a grab immediately because I've already trained them to shield those back airs that I've been poking at them with. Now, I don't recommend, like, make sure, one of the techniques that we have talked about is the cross up, where, like, you actually throw your move so deep that you end up behind them. That way you can get a grab or whatever, and they're left having to turn around to be able to attack you, right? So you want to be careful, like, if you are seeing them shield a lot of stuff, that you're not putting yourself in a position that can easily get grabbed or punished because you've been attacking the shield. You've got to find safe ways to poke at that shield. And so the last little thing here is just play cat and mouse with your opponent until you see an opening, right? Mix up your attacks and movements so they don't begin to read you. How are you recovering? Like Great Crawler said at the beginning of this thing, as you think about all these things that your opponent's doing and what you're wanting them to do, are you doing that same stuff, or are you mixing it up? And you can look through this list and say, am I doing this? Am I returning to stage high every time? Am I getting back on the stage normal every time, just regular recovery? Or am I rolling too much? Am I shielding too much and then getting grabbed too often? Like, these are all things that you can then look at yourself during the game. Like, the point of all of this is to look at it while it's happening in the game. And I know for some of you right now that you're thinking, this is not how. How is it possible? The more you play, the more this becomes possible. Because, 6 months ago, heck, 2 months ago, I was like, how is this possible? How is this possible? The stuff that Peon went over with me, I was like, I'm not there. I'm just not there. So stick with the game, play it regularly, and a lot of this stuff will start to come to you over time. And you'll be like, I kid you not, the day that Crawler and I were fighting, and I was catching that he was rolling so much, it was like, I felt like a revelation had taken place. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. Because here's what happens. A lot of times, if I land my jab, and I bet you, Crawler, you can tell me if you've picked up on this also. If I land all 3 jab hits, a lot of times, I've stopped doing it as much now, but I used to immediately dash attack. And as the person would hit the ground, they would roll behind me, and then I would get punished for that, or we would just reset neutral. Do you recall? Does that sound familiar?
Yeah, especially that was more when I was playing Corrin too. I could definitely space you out, and then I was almost probably every time pinning you at that point too.
Yeah. And so because in 4, what would happen is that dash attack would lead to another hit sometimes. And in this one, it can too if you do it fast enough. But if you're too far away and they can roll, now you put yourself in a bad situation. So I'm like, well, I'm just not going to dash attack. All of a sudden, they're rolling right to me. And I'm like, oh, well, look at this now. And it's not only Crawler I've seen do this. I've seen other people do. As I played some people online today, I watched that very thing happen. And so, just be on the lookout for tendencies that your opponent does.
And I will almost say probably most of you are probably doing almost half of this stuff, and a lot of it, like, you don't even realize you're doing it. But I find myself, I sometimes just get in tunnel vision, and I'm either paying attention to them, but I'm also not. I've gotten to the point where I'm comfortable looking at them. Like we've talked about that in the past, where you get to the point where you're not watching yourself and you're reacting to your opponent, but also I'm not actively analyzing it like I should. Even if I see it, I maybe react to it, but I'm not tying all the pieces together, where as if I can that's one thing I want to start working on myself is stepping back from it, going down this checklist and kind of seeing the patterns that I'm noticing, because I do react to what they're doing, but I need to take mental notes down. Like, I might be able to react to what they're doing, but I wouldn't be able to spit it back out to you what they did like 3 get-ups ago. I wouldn't be able to kind of pick out those patterns as much, but I am very reactionary to it. So that's kind of something on my goal list that I want to kind of pull myself out of that tunnel vision and start just analyzing more and being actively aware of the current match that I'm in.
Yeah, for me, it's a mix of trying to incorporate the new things I've learned, as far as like, I'm learning to utilize Mario's down air much more than I had in the past. I went and watched videos today. The video footage I used for the video that I made for this very topic, I was like, I didn't throw a single down air that entire match, where it's one of my most effective tools now, because it combos into so many, it can start so many other things. I wasn't using it. And so for me, it's a combination of like making sure that I'm sticking to my game plan as far as what attacks I'm going to be using, and not just going back and forth into my old habits, but then 2, watching my opponent and I'll take it even a step further from what you're saying. Instead of reacting, anticipating, right? Because once you're anticipating, there's nothing they can do. As soon as you're anticipating what their moves are, it's going to be game over for them. And that's the point. That's where we want to be. We want to be there.
And a lot of it is reacting to then force the anticipation. So like, if you take away so many options by keeping them up in the air and not letting them get back on stage, they only have like 2 options at that point. Try to work their way all the way, kind of be off stage and up B to snap to ledge, or air dodge at the exact perfect moment to not get hit by you, but then even that you can react to. So it's limiting their options so that you can then anticipate what is left.
Absolutely. Hey, let's put a bow on this thing, man. Where Leo just said, and staying in the driver's seat as opposed to playing on auto. Yep, absolutely. Where can we find you, my guy?
You guys can find me hanging out in Josh's Discord. n64josh.com/Discord will get you the invite. And kind of stay tuned there, because I'm sure here once we're out on the road at Genesis, Discord will be a good spot to get information, but also Twitter for me, so Nightcrawler724, Nightcrawler without the E, and then also my Twitch channel. I do have Streamlabs on my phone, so we'll try to get some live play footage up there during Genesis if it's allowed and we're allowed to. And I have Josh that's not playing a game that he can be behind me taking film, so we'll do that. So yeah, you guys can follow me twitch.tv/Nightcrawler724, Nightcrawler without the E.
Right on, guys. Hey, follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, Snapchat, Facebook, YouTube, all the places. It's at N64Josh. I am going to try to get out more videos on YouTube for Smash, you know, as ideas come my way and whatever. So, you know, stay tuned to that. I do got to say, Ted, thank you so much for the 3,000 bits, bro. Thank you. You're currently the bit boss. Your princess is in your castle. Oh, Leo's asking, meet up for Genesis. Yes, we have to. There will be details next week. We will have that all figured out and tell you guys where and when it's all going to be happening. So make sure to stay tuned for that. We'll get info in the Discord as well. Guys, show notes for this episode, n64josh.com/SBC 49. And remember to check out my book, Another Castle. n64josh.com/Another Castle is available in audio form and ebook form. And that's going to do it. We're going to see you guys in the next episode. Later.